Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City Media podcast. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, TJ Willis and Trey Lasley. Pull up your chair, grab your favorite brew, and enjoy the conversation. Now, let's get to the show.
What up, what up, what up? Back with another episode of Tigers Untapped. If you're watching, you probably already see we've got a special guest tonight. But first, got to introduce my dude, my co-host, Mr. Impossible, Mr. Man Bun, Cat Dad, TJ. What's up?
Man, no complaints. Just excited to have a win. Just rocking the whole camera and everything here.
Yeah, a couple wins, right? Football, basketball, both of them. There was a loss mixed in there, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah. All right, for our special guest, we're going to start off tonight. Usually we would cover football first. We're going to cover basketball. We got former University of Memphis, Big Will Coleman. What's up, my man?
How y'all doing, man?
Good, dude. Good to see you. How you been?
Will?
Trying to stay out of troubles is my go-to line, I guess.
Yeah. That's got to be tough for you, right?
It used to be.
Yeah. Well, you still playing ball these days? Still jacking threes up? Last time I played with you in the Bellevue League, you were staying out there in the perimeter.
I had to because guys get a little reckless sometimes in these recreational games.
I feel that's what caused my retirement from men's league is that recklessness out there of some of these fools. I feel you there. All right, well, Will, glad to have you. First things first, though, TJ, the beverage of the evening. Tell us what we got.
This is Tip Your Bartender by Meddlesome. You can't see it because the light's too bright. Maybe Trey can. Yeah, there you go.
Some dollar bills on the can.
Yeah,
it's kind of a plain Jane can.
It is.
We'll see. Maybe it'll
beer
grow
with
on me.
Coriander.
Not the pinky up.
Maybe it'll
get
grow
fancy.
on me. Pretty good first sip. We'll see. We'll be sipping on that throughout the episode. So shout out to Meddlesome out there. And was that out there in the Dirty Dova?
That is.
They had to make a beer because people in Cordova don't tip their bartenders, I guess. So they had to make one named Tip Your Bartender. I don't know what that's about.
There's a story behind it.
Will you dine out in the Dirty Dova ever?
No, I don't fool with the Dirty Dova.
You tip? You seem like a good tipper.
Yeah, I do tip.
Yeah.
I do tip. I used to, but a lot of people, I get a lot of flack because there are certain things that I guess I expect, when I'm about to tip someone very well. And I know, things aren't always the server's fault in the service industry, but
what's your number one thing you expect for somebody to get a good tip?
You got to write my order down.
Write it down? What? You're not impressed if they memorize it and get it spot on?
Yeah, I mean, if they memorize it and get it spot on, yes, you get a phenomenal tip. But if you don't write my order down and you mess it up,
Will's instantly judging you, all of you servers that don't write your orders down.
It's a wrap. And some people can do it flawlessly. I've seen people 4, 5, 6 orders, boom, 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 because they know the menu like the back of their hand. But some people will, no, I got it. I don't know. I'm even okay with if you try and memorize it and you leave, they go to the POS that they, when they put the stuff in, when they leave and then they come back and they're like, I'm sorry, can you tell me what you want? If they come back and ask for reassurance, I'm even okay with that. But if they try and get the whole order and then go and just botch it, it's a wrap.
Done. I feel you. All right, enough with the restaurant talk. Let's go right into basketball. All right, 2 games last week. Last time we left off, we were getting ready for SLU. I think TJ and I both predicted W's. I will tell you this. We talked about the over-under. I think it was 147.5 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obliterated the over. It was an ugly defensive performance by both teams. 90-84 final. I mean, it just felt like we couldn't get a stop until, I'll say this, the last 4 minutes, they really turned the heat up. I mean, well, why do you think it takes until the 4-minute mark for a team to did you see that as well? Like in those last 4 minutes, it was like they kicked it into another gear. Is that just desperation at that point? I mean, why Why aren't they coming out with that intensity from the get-go?
Man, honestly, I'm starting to think that's just a Memphis thing now. Like that last night was, I mean, well, not last night, but when we played St. Louis, that's not the only time that has happened.
It's not. You're right.
I don't know if you guys remember, but you know, I worked closely with a couple guys, and we got the tournament to come here, that $2 million tournament.
Yeah.
I got it to come here, and it sounds crazy, but I'm convinced. But we were playing, I think the first or second round, we ended up losing, but it was like 3 minutes left, and we were down maybe 10. We were going. They got that Elam ending where you got to get to a certain score in 5 minutes in the last quarter or in the second half is when it hits. We're down like 10, and Chris Crawford goes on a tear. I mean, gets the ball, comes down, shoots the ball, draws, come back. They go back. We get a stop. Chris Crawford screaming for it, draws, come back, same thing. I mean, he goes bananas. And that's the same thing that happens with the Tigers. I don't understand why we can't do that all game, because we do that all game. We beaten, I'm willing to bet 95% of our opponents. By 15.
I don't even, not that it wouldn't have been close, but I think you win fairly easily the other night against St. Louis if you play with that intensity. Do you think some of it, I mean, they didn't really start the full court press until that point. Do you think some of that plays into that? I mean, if they come out from, I mean, they showed it a little bit against VCU yesterday, but I mean, do you think that helps with the intensity if you're coming out and immediately full court pressing from the get-go?
I mean, it does, but it's like a double-edged sword, because if you don't have the guys who are conditioned to do that, they pressing hard, man, because everybody know you get into a press, you get in the middle of the floor, you break the press, and then that forces everybody to sprint back, and you got mismatches in transition all night. So it's like you can't press all the time. And generally, the pressing for VCU was really good, just because nobody on their team was typically they didn't have any amazing ball handlers.
Right. They looked uncomfortable.
Yeah. 100%. And Penny's good at that. But the problem is, if you got teams that do get lucky and break the press, now we playing, we picking up fouls, we get scored on.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could
that definitely, I think, plays conditioning earlier in the year, and I mean, you got a guard like Collins that can handle the rock, like, that definitely plays into it. But I mean, I will say, TJ, I don't know how you felt about this, but like, I get a lot of encouragement. Normally we get down like 15, 17, 18 like that, I feel like the game's over. But for them to bat, I mean, we were down 2 or 3 with 40 seconds left and had the ball. I mean, you got to love the fight at the end of that game, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ability to kind of make a run. I think at one point I went and kind of like put my son down for bed and came back and was like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah,
like,
you texted us and we're like, "What the hell's going on?" And we're like, "We're playing basketball."
Like, I thought it was going to be kind of heading towards a blowout there, and then to see Memphis kind of come back in that little bit of time, I was like, "All right, well, I mean, I'm gonna turn the TV off. I'm gonna walk away because apparently it's me at this point." But I was definitely shocked to see him come back. Way too many points. It's atypical, I think, of a Memphis team to give up that many points as well for, a team that prides itself defensively.
Yeah, I mean, is that concerning to you? Obviously, we played VCU. They played a much better defensive game. I mean, VCU's missing their starting point guard, but I mean, is there concern there that if you're facing a more efficient offensive team, that the defense may be struggling like that again?
Well, no, because that's kind of tough, right? And, you held them to sub 30% shooting, I think is what it was. And is that because VCU was struggling, or is that because Memphis kind of clamped them down? It's kind of hard to depict which was which. But, if Memphis can turn it around like this after every, I guess you could say defense was perhaps a struggle against SLU. And they definitely turned around against VCU. And kind of grew off that. So if they can do that after every game, I mean, it's going to be pretty tough to beat them.
I've never heard somebody call St. Louis SLU. That's got to be a first for me. I've heard SLU. Heard St. Louis, the Billikens. I have never heard SLU.
SLU, bro.
Just going with the acronym. I like it. SLU.
That's literally VCU, TCU, SMU, UCF.
SLU.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Are you concerned at all with St. Louis following that up with an absolute 30-point beat down to Maryland.
It's not ideal. It's definitely not ideal in terms of any KenPom rankings, depending on what you think on KenPom.
For sure. Hey, we didn't move. I think we dropped one spot, and now we've moved back up after beating VCU. But, well, how important is that game going to come back to bite us not winning it?
1,000%. That was a quad one win.
Yeah.
Should have quad one win.
And it's looking like some of those what we thought were going to be quad ones are kind of slowly slipping away. A&M doesn't look very good. I mean, Florida State, who we were potentially going to play this coming week in the Orlando tournament, is like 0-3. They were losing earlier today to Mercer last time I checked. Hadn't looked at that score, but you're kind of losing some quad one wins you thought you might have had. I mean, obviously, you're going to have Houston still. Hopefully, Bama, Auburn, those are going to stay quad one. But, I mean, that's one you definitely would have liked to have had. It would have been a good resume booster for sure.
Yeah. That would have, and I think that would have set the tone, man, for a lot of things. And that SLU, let's say we go on a tear and win a bunch of games, but let's say we make it to Selection Sunday, everybody's gonna be sitting around like, what happened? What happened? What's going on? What happened? And all of a sudden it's like, oh, damn, the SLU game. That's one of those things that's just, that's just waiting, like a gnat at a barbecue. You feel me? It's just waiting to just floating around. When the time is right for that loss, it sounds crazy. It's going to come back, man. And I hate it. But unless we do something crazy and just win out and just beat everybody down, ain't going to matter.
Win out. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Win every game here.
Those damn St. Louis barbecue gnats, man. Just ruining our dinner, our feast. Hey, shout out to Feast Week. This has got to be the best time of the year. All the college basketball every day, all day. You got the World Cup, rivalry week in football. What a week to be alive.
Oh yeah.
St. Louis predicted to win A-10.
I think they were predicted to finish second behind Dayton.
Okay,
but top two. I mean, it's open.
Yeah. It's open. I think if you're top two, there's totally a chance you could technically win A-10. And then that kind of obviously helps the loss a little bit there if, they go on to run the A-10.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you, in your basketball career, ever started with back-to-back true road games? I ain't talking a neutral site tournament style. I'm saying true back-to-back road games.
Out of conference?
Yep. Do you like that approach? A lot of people have talked about it and how nobody does that. But now here we are talking about taking an early L and what could have been a quad one. But, I mean, Kendrick's talked about it. Deandre's talked about it. Coach Hardaway's talked about it. He's building them up for March. Do you like starting out? Or would you like as a player, did you want to come out? Besides, I'm not talking Lane and freaking CBU. Do you want to come out and play like a North Alabama first or an Arkansas Little Rock just to get some butterflies out, work some things out?
I would like to play, and I know you need those tune-up games, but I think, and no disrespect to Lane and CBU, because I think CBU is projected to win their conference.
Oh, they're always, yeah. I mean, they're D2, right?
Yeah,
they're always one of the better.
CBU, if they would have had just a little bit more talent, just a little bit, they would have beat us because they sure as hell played harder than us the whole game. Yeah. But I think, it's Memphis. We're Memphis. We're supposed to be top tier. We're supposed to be a pretty powerful program. I like to see, like you said, a D1 AA early.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you've got, right, you brought in so many transfers as a new team. They've mentioned it. I mean, Kendrick talks about it almost after every game so far. The last 3 games, he said, hey, we're still trying to get familiar with each other. I mean, he said it yesterday, a new court, new uniforms, new team. And it's like, I mean, it makes sense. But I like Coach Hardaway's attempt at just kind of throwing him out there and seeing what he's got and testing him early. And I think it'll pay dividends down the road, right? I mean, you're here sitting first week, second week in November, and you've already played. I mean, I don't think outside of, well, I mean, Kentucky, I guess, played in Spokane last night, but like truly a tough road game. And I mean, it was a good environment too. So it was a good test for them for sure.
Yeah.
All right. What about that VCU game? Looked like a totally different defensive team.
Man.
Supposedly they said on the broadcast they spent all week on nothing but defense.
I'm with that. But I'm gonna be a critic, just a constructive criticism, because I just grew up in it. I played in it. I saw it. I'm not taking nothing away from our Tigers. Kendric Davis balled out of control. I mean, he went crazy, went nuts.
Dude, I feel like he can score whenever he wants to score.
I do too. And I'm ready to see him against those Alabamas and Auburn, and I'm excited to see him at Seton Hall. Simply because, I mean, we had almost 10, 12 turnovers after the first half. You have those kind of turnovers against the Auburns and the Alabamas and other teams that our out of conference schedule is it's decent. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best we've had since Hardaway's been here for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. And if we have those turnovers playing those guys like that, we're gonna get eaten alive, man. And again, VCU is a good program. They've had great history, but ain't no way that shouldn't be okay, those turnovers.
And TJ, what do you think it's not like we're being forced into these turnovers. I was there with my buddy Johnathan yesterday. And so there are so many times we're throwing a one-handed pass, or it's like an insane, for no reason, tried to just throw it straight through the middle of the lane all the way to the other elbow. Like I'm not even talking like throwing it in the air, just like a chest pass through the middle of the lane. Like nobody's going to just step in front of it or put a hand up. Like it's there. A lot of them are just unforced, like mental errors. And I just don't understand what it is.
Well, I think a lot of that is a product of just playing at like the speed I think that they play at with such, they're constantly pushing it. I think naturally you're going to get turnovers there. Obviously, it's not 18. Some of that is exactly what you're talking about. It's bringing the ball up the court lazy, throwing some of those passes, trying to be maybe a little too flashy at times versus taking maybe a safer toss. But, I think if Memphis can stay in probably the 13 range, I think is what we agreed on last time, versus Vandy. If you can stay in that 13. Yeah, if you can stay in that range, I think you're good to go. I think they play with enough, aggressive defense that it kind of makes up for a lot of that on their end as well.
Yeah. I mean, they had 10 against St. Louis. I want to say it was right around there against Vandy.
It was 13 against Vandy, I think.
Yeah, 10, 13. You can hover in that. I think you're Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
So what do they have to do this week in Orlando to come home with 3 victories? By the way, I don't know, Will, if as a player you like this, but these week breaks in between games I can't stand. After losing to SLU, I wanted to watch them play again so bad. I love 3 games in 4 days. These early season tournaments, the conference tournament, March Madness, there's nothing better.
Oh yeah.
You like that as a player?
Yeah, I loved it. And it's like that in Europe too, man. Like a lot of pressure. If you're not playing in 2 leagues, so you got your country league and you got Euro League, Euro Cup, Euro Challenge, and stuff like that. And that causes you to play 2 games a week. But like you said, to your point, that 1 game a week, that's a long ass week, dude.
I mean, that's church league stuff.
Yeah, man.
Where you practice on a Monday and your game Saturday. It's child's play. Load me up. So what do they got to do this week? I'll say this. We talked about it a little bit. Florida State's fallen off. This tournament, I mean, the teams the field, initially when it came out, you thought it was going to be great. You had Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Florida State, and a lot of those teams have not
Stanford.
Nebraska basketball, but Stanford. A lot of those teams have just not. I mean, Florida State especially, they were preseason top 25, and like I said earlier, they're 0-3, potentially moving to 0-4 against Mercer tonight. But how important does that make? We talked about it earlier, the quad one, that Seton Hall, that's your first game Thursday night, and that could be your most important game of this entire event this weekend. That could be your only quad one opportunity. I think they're in KenPom. They're right behind us. I want to say 36. 35th. Yeah. So that's definitely neutral site. I mean, that's a quad one opportunity. And then I don't know after that Oklahoma's right around 50, but how important is that Seton Hall game on Thursday?
Man, I want to say it is as important as St. Louis. I know I keep harping on it, but damn, that was a big win.
But a true road win looks better, obviously.
Oh yeah. It looks better. We just need to grab it while we can, because like you said, until we see. And I was looking at the schedule the other day. Until we see, hopefully they stay ranked. But until we see Auburn and Alabama, I think this is the only other opportunity we have to secure quad one win, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong.
It'll depend. Yeah. Vandy ended up being a quad one. They're top 75. So if they can finish somewhere around, if they're top 75, that'll be quad one, which I don't know. They've kind of struggled since we played them. But no, I think you're right. Outside of getting to Auburn and Alabama, the Seton Hall game might be your one shot until then. KenPom right now has us winning 70-69 with a 55% chance to win. So it should be a pretty close game.
TJ, what do you expect to see? Or what do you want to see out of a game like this from the Tigers?
A win? Is that too easy to answer?
Okay. Other than the win, what are And I think asking for 3-point percentage or an increase is just. I think that's out. We got to find other ways to put the ball in the hole. But
I think I agree with you there. I don't know if the 3-point play is just going to happen for this team that often. You have Kendric, awesome, great shooter, best shooter on the team. I think one could argue Deandre is capable, and that's really kind of it, right? We've seen Jaden hit a few and really defend the three. I think is kind of a big thing against this team. I don't remember the guy's name now. Dawes is a big 3-point shooter for them. And if you're able to keep them off the line, you weren't able to do it against SLU, as Trey would prefer them to be called. And they got up pretty big pretty quickly from their ability to hit threes consistently. So if the Tigers can defend the three and, maybe make a couple along the road, and then I think they have a really good shot of winning this one. What about you? What do you think?
Man, I think we got to play to our strengths. Like you said, I think there's power in the defense. I think we can be a very good defensive team.
Let me ask you this. Are you a believer in defense wins championships? Or you got to sprinkle some. You got to find a way to score, obviously. But
yeah, you got to find a way to score. But I still believe defense does. I know you got to score the ball, but a little off topic here, but if you're not scoring the ball, regardless if you don't have scores or if you got incredible defense, but off topic here, but just an example. Bane and Ja from the Grizzlies, they're out. We've seen on any given night those guys combine for 60 to 65 points. Sure. We go to Brooklyn, we get mud stomped. So not necessarily saying they were playing great D, but that offense was gone. So if we, like we said to this point, if we have Davis and a Williams who produces a lot of our scoring, with Davis scoring at will, if we lock those two guys up, we're in trouble because nobody's hitting consistently. So I think we got to take that same approach to everybody else. It didn't fare well when we played St. Louis because my guy was pulling from the parking lot. What's my guy name?
Jimerson.
Looked like man. I mean, he was just the rim.
He wouldn't even. He was beating us down the floor too. It was like we weren't even getting back or anything.
And I still believe Memphis, and I think we forever will have. I just think that's our identity now. Our identity, just having one of the most athletic teams in the country, always.
Yeah.
But I think defense, we're going to have to stop the ball because I agree with Trey earlier what he said. I mean, I just don't think there's a person in the country that can stay in front of Kendric. And then if you get KO, the young guy, we get him some more reps, get him catching the ball consistently. He's finishing. You got Deandre finishing. Because, I mean, Kendric get to the ball. They're going to have to help.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be okay.
I mean, we've seen that early on too, right? People have already started double teaming him. So you got, you got to find somebody that whoever's man's coming off and helping, you got to be ready, right? Whether it's a cutback door or knocking down an open shot. But I definitely think this team, I kind of talked about it in SLU and I was worried, but they've kind of reeled me back in with the VCU performance and holding them to 47, under 30. I think they shot like 27% from the field. That one Shriver or whatever his name is, the dude that looked like TJ out there jacking threes was like 0-7. Now, I don't know how much of that had to do with our defense because some of those looks were open. They just weren't falling. But I mean, if they can come out and play defensively with that intensity every night, night in and night out, which is a lot to ask, especially in a tournament where you're playing 3 games in 4 days, you get to Sunday and your legs might be gone. But if they can come out and play defensively like that, I don't see any game that we can't have an opportunity to win, right? I mean, it is concerning where it seems like at times, first half yesterday, where it feels like Kendric is literally your only offensive option. Because heaven forbid something happens. He has to go out of a game, foul trouble, whatever it may be. I mean, we may never score again. We may not get to double digits. I'm talking like YMCA 3rd grade basketball.
It would be a complete change in the offense.
10-8 final.
I don't even know if he goes out. What do you do? You got to move in.
Well, obviously, Alo's.
No, I'm saying like who becomes like your leading shot taker. I mean, it's obviously
have to be
Deandre at that point.
Yeah.
But what about McCadden? How would he work in? Because this is kind of something. And Will, I want your opinion on this. Like we've seen it a couple times now with Katie and Alo playing side by side, and I get it because Kendric not really the best defender in the world. You can put Alo on the primary defender or the primary ball carrier, whoever's got the ball. So I get it. Also, Katie being the best shooter on the team, Alo is able to kind of set him up off ball. So I get it. But at the same time, if they tire out, like who becomes that next guy? So that to me kind of worries me. But I just kind of want your opinion on KD and Alo kind of playing side by side. Does it make sense from like a basketball mindset or what?
I think like we just said earlier, it's just gonna take some time to figure out because we got a deep bench. But I think I always get them mixed up because it's like 7 of them. Is it Kennedy who's the younger one, or is it Chandler of the Lawsons?
Johnathan.
Dang, I'm tripping. Okay, the one with the longer hair.
Yeah,
Johnathan.
Hey, he made a hairstyle change at half. Did y'all see that?
Johnathan, I'm waiting for him to show up.
Sure.
Because he played in the pro-am that we had not too long ago in the summertime, that Memphis City pro-am 2 of my buddies put on. And he was in there killing grown men. Like, it's just no remorse.
What, like he had a knife on him? What are you talking about? Oh, on the court. Like, damn, did you just rat your dude out?
He doing whatever he want to do to these cats. Like tween, behind the back, step back, side step, cash. I don't know.
What do you think that's the freedom of playing in a pro-am event like that, though? And you get this confidence, you know that it doesn't, in a sense, it doesn't matter one way or the other, right? So you're just out there playing ball. And if you're, not to say that it's, but when you get out there in the form with the Tigers, I mean, there's a structure more behind it, right? It's a little bit more, you're in the flow of a true offense. And so there's maybe not that freedom or confidence to be like, hey, I can just kind of take, I mean, I'll say this, we saw a flash of it, right? In the St. Louis game.
Those threes.
I mean, we were down 13 or 15 and he brought it back within, knocked down back-to-back threes, hit a jumper.
I'm speaking in terms of just pure scoring ability.
Yeah.
Like I think you can still be in that structured environment and just be able to score and create your own shot. People, I hadn't said this, but I've been waiting on it because I don't want to, it's high praise and it's a lot of pressure, but he remind me of a CDR. Long, kind of slow motion, but like CDR, I mean, when we needed a bucket, CDR was able to get us one. Just straight up old man moves, killing you.
Yeah, I can see it with that baseline jumper he hit against SLU. I mean, it was a little reminiscent of CDR. I'll tell you who he really reminds me of, though, when he comes out with his hair up like that is, I'm not joking, at Vandy, I thought Imani was back.
Man, these are both great comparisons, but I think, like to answer y'all's questions about folks stepping up or who we can get on the court, I think if we can find something in that second unit to kind of work around him, I think we'll be okay.
So let me ask you this, because Penny's talked about this, and we've seen it a little bit of Johnathan playing at the one. Do you think he's suited for that, or do you think it's more of a put him at the two, kind of get the ball to him once you're down the court, or is it, hey, he's just let him bring it up and do his thing?
Yeah, I don't know, because if you do that, I think he's still in the mindset. Like I said, I just praise him for scoring. I do think if he does get caught up bringing the ball up, it will turn into a one-on-one type of vibe. I just don't think he's ready, and not to say that he can't. I just don't think he's ready to be able to see the floor and have that role or that responsibility. Because if you're at the point guard position, it's great that you can score, but your job is to make everybody better.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. I don't think he's ready for that just yet. Not to say that he can't, because I think he can handle the ball, can score, things like that. But scoring second kind of has to be a thing when you're at a point guard position.
Dude, Will's got me so pumped for J-Law. Freaking J-Law. CDR Jr., are you kidding me?
I believe in him, dog. I see this. I don't know. I
would love nothing more than an All-American Johnathan Lawson. Consistent All-American. Junior year, let's go.
I see it, man.
I still think there's some confusion on what he is, like as a player. I know we're in this world of positionless basketball, but at 6'6", is he a guard? Is he more of a wing? Like, what do you consider him to be kind of situation?
He's a hooper, TJ. That's all that matters.
I know, but I'm kind of with you. I'm not confident that he is ready to control the ball and bring it down court. But I'm like Will. I'm high on Johnathan. I think he can definitely develop into something. I don't think it's going to be this year, just due to the fact of who's ahead of him in terms of who's going to be touching the ball. But I definitely think he could become a really good player. He's someone you can just give the ball to on the wing and let him go ISO if he needs to. So definitely think he could become something.
I am definitely high on him now. I'm not going to lie. I was out on him when he first got in the St. Louis game, because I think his first two plays, one, he tried to drop baseline and dribble the ball off of his shin. And about a minute and a half later, he brought the ball up the court, picked his dribble up at midcourt, and got it ripped, which was, I mean, you might as well have put me in the game and told me to run point guard at that point in time. But he totally redeemed himself. So I'm high on Johnathan with you guys. All right, Feast Week. We've talked about it. ESPN Invitational. Give me y'all's predictions. 3 games. Do we win all 3? We go 2-1. What do we do?
We winning them things, baby.
Let's go.
Winning them joints.
Well, I don't remember what. So you're saying 3-0?
Yeah, I'm optimistic, man. Glass half full, dog.
Glass all the way full. Why can't you fill your cup up? Drink the Kool-Aid.
Fill it up, baby, to the brim.
All right, TJ, what are you saying?
And if you can get through Seton Hall, I think you definitely get through the winner. I think it's of Oklahoma, Nebraska.
Man, look,
and then after
Will's got me all hyped up, and then TJ's got to come in and say something dumb like, if you get through Seton Hall.
It's going to be a tough test, man. They're a good team. They shoot the 3 well. They're a big team. They're actually comparable to us.
Yeah, they got those
size. I mean, they got
6'5", 6'5". They got those 2 6'10" dudes that they use a lot.
Yeah,
Tyrese Samuel and Trey Jackson use them all the time.
With an A.
Who's guarding them? 2 6'2", 6'10" guys. Well, how tall are you? 6'10", 6'9"? Damn,
6'9",
see, you couldn't
dude.
even guard them. I don't know who's going to guard them.
Shoot, man. I don't see. The problem is I think we'll be fine with, Dandridge. He's a big dude, not the most athletic, but he's a big body. I think he's right around 6'10".
He shows flashes of athleticism, though, for sure.
And it's so crazy because I feel like college is when like you peak athletic.
You're peaking. Yeah, that's when TJ
just
peaked.
Like because at East, bro was he was a dog. And I guess it's like that. It's a confident thing too.
Well, and some of it's injury
team around him,
right?
But yeah, but you a big fish in a little pond at East. So like now you feeling good. You're gonna play good.
Yeah.
And
confidence is key.
Yeah. And at Memphis, people been beating them down, talking bad about, and some people can't handle critics and fans where they dog and stuff. Not to say that it's taking a toll on Malcolm, but like I will be, I don't know if it's I believe it's still there. But it's a different player than it was at East.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think you hit it when he was a big fish in a smaller pond. Now you kind of get moved to a little bit bigger pond. There's other fish that are your same size out there. You fighting over the same minnows and frogs and stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, I'm with Will. I think we win the damn thing. I think defense in a little 3-day, 4-day event like this. Like, hey, they said it the other day, defense travels, and that our defense is traveling to Orlando.
Do we, again, I don't think you said 3-0?
Yeah. I think there may be an ugly win or two in there, but I think we pull it off 3-0.
I hope that ugly win
you get by Seton Hall. You get that Seton Hall game, and then I think we probably play Oklahoma Friday. The other side of the bracket, if you would have started it, or we talked about it a month ago, we'd have said it was Florida State, but now it's like, I don't know, we may play Ole Miss. We may play Ole Miss twice. We may play them Sunday in the championship and then play them in a week. But I think they go 3-0 and they end up winning it, which would be cool. Did we win a preseason tournament or play in one when you were here?
We went to the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
No, hell no. We played in the Jimmy V Classic.
Was that the Kansas game?
I got my ass handed to me by the Morris twins. That was embarrassing.
We almost won that game. Elliott missed the 3 to win.
We lost by 1. No, 2. We lost by 2.
Elliott missed the 3 to win.
That was embarrassing. They gave, I think, who was I playing with that? Was it Was it Tarek that year?
No, that was your first year.
It couldn't
Tarek came
be.
the
Yeah,
next
that's my
year.
first year out. That was my first year out. Yeah, my junior year.
Pierre was on that team.
The Morris twins. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah, but we almost won.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. I done played a lot of basketball. But I can remember there's three people, just three. Only three.
And two of them are twins.
I take that back. Four. I take it back. Four guys where they just absolutely handed me just an ass whooping from hell. You got the Morris twins. Okay. You got the Morris twins.
1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2. They just took turns doing whatever they wanted. You got Tobias Harris. And you got, I forget his name. We never knew how to say his name. We just called him Papa Doc. But the big man from SMU. Big African dude.
Bro, and that was when SMU wasn't even good then.
Man, we went down to SMU. It was a whole
I remember
mess.
Being so embarrassed we lost that SMU game.
Because we wasn't focused. I mean, a lot of crazy stuff happened that day. Outside of basketball, we got in so much trouble, dude. We got in so much trouble off the court. It was dog. And it was over some females.
Oh my gosh, Will. Is this the door incident?
No, this isn't the door incident. So we were going. So first off, I'm gonna tell you. First off, we wasn't even focused on the game, right? Because we going down to Texas. This is where DJ Steffens is from,
What the hell is wrong with y'all?
So we got a game before we even get to SMU. DJ screaming about going to the game for 2 weeks straight. Yeah, we're going to the hometown, going to see my folks. They coming to the game. I can't wait to get y'all, show y'all this, that, and the third. We got Shipley's Donuts, the best donuts in the world, and all this. He all of this. Luckily, we win the game before we get to Texas. We won that one, thank God, because we would have lost that one. Ooh, would have been bad. I can't remember when we played. But we get down to Texas. And we all chilling. We're on the bench. And, we all just, maxing, relaxing. Well, we supposed to be playing the game, but instead we on the bench, Kiki and Kakan, and, DJ he got the squad. He got a roster at the game. Okay. He got a roster at the game. And so we on the bench like, God, who is that? Who is that? And DJ laughing, he laughing like, yeah, I'm the man type of vibe. I got to, So we get our asses handed to us. We get back to Memphis. The next day, we're going over film. It's not a lick of basketball on the film. It's not a lick of basketball on the film. The whole film session is us on the bench flirting with women across the court.
2 things. 1, that's hilarious and awesome. And 2, it makes me realize how dumb I am for getting so mad when Memphis loses a sporting event because you guys don't even give a flying. You're flirting with chicks across the court. And I'm over here. I remember being pissed off at my girlfriend's house that y'all got beat by SMU and y'all's dumbasses are flirting with cougars in the crowd.
But and I say that to say this. The smallest thing can knock you off focus. Now, and I will say one thing I do like about this crowd that we have now, not the crowd, the team, is that these people, these boys, they really like each other. They really like each other. There's no division. You can tell that they all truly enjoy one another, and that's going to translate on the court.
Yeah. I mean, those are always the best teams, right? And
yeah.
Oftentimes the most successful are the teams that have that like true team feel where every person on the team likes each other. They can all hang out. Like you're getting me damn excited.
I think the best thing about it though is people, and I'm not saying that it can't work in this situation, but how many, and I'm not saying these guys are great basketball players, amazing basketball players, and I really love this team more than I love them. I love them a lot. But how many 4 or 5 star recruits we got on the team? I mean, I would love to have these guys on the team. You know, I love, you know, it's good on paper. 4-star, 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. Just that third, but you got 8, 9 seniors who on their last ride of collegiate basketball. And it's like, we gotta go. We gotta play.
They just want to win.
It ain't no time for no egos. It ain't no time for guys to be bickering. I mean, you can tell these guys enjoy each other, man. And I think I think it'll pay off for us in the long run. Even I think we can make a deep tournament run off that chemistry alone.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree with you.
Papadilla was that guy's name, by the way.
Yeah,
Papadilla.
That's what Will said.
Papadilla. Hey, you sound Papa Doc.
Papa D's nuts.
8 mile. 8 mile.
Yeah. 23 and 14 on you, by the way, if you want to.
He dropped, but he did what?
23 and 14
on Will's head in Dallas.
That's fine with the Morris twins. They've had a 13-year NBA career, so that one's acceptable.
Yeah, but they share a bank account, and that's weird.
Weird. That doesn't make sense.
I mean, that doesn't. That's a fact.
I know, but that doesn't make sense. It's weird.
It doesn't. I don't know. You're right. All right. Any final thoughts, Will? Tell the people how to follow you. What are you up to? Tell them how to follow you.
Man, Instagram, my name, Will Coleman. I think I lucked out with that. I don't know how that happened, but my Instagram handle is my name, Will Coleman. Twitter, I'm trying to get my Twitter game right, man. I do know a lot of reporters and beat writers use Twitter. But like last I checked, isn't like Twitter like burning down to the ground?
That's not a thing.
Hey, it's still rolling.
It's not a thing. You're good, dude. Get on Twitter, kick it up.
I'm Twitter. But that's
you gotta get back and do your halftime Instagram lives.
No, I'm on it this week for sure. I'm on it.
Will is on it for Feast Week, so y'all follow him on Instagram. He'll go live during halftime, tell you what women the bench is looking at across the court, and any other breakdowns he has from.
No, these guys are focused, man. I think they're gonna be ready. I'm excited to see what happens. This is the first like this a road trip, and like I think I just there's so many things running through my brain about it right now, but I'm pretty pumped to see what happens.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they come home from the most magical place on earth and have a trophy in hand at 3-0. Maybe a quad 1 win or 2 on the resume.
I hope so, man.
All right, Will. We appreciate it, man. A lot of fun.
Appreciate it, Will.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoyed it.
We'll get you back. We'll make something happen.
Let's
see if we can't work something out here.
Let's do it.
All right, TJ. A little bit of football time.
Yeah.
Bowl eligibility.
What's up?
We are the only, 9 years straight bowls?
9 years. Yeah.
The only G5 program to do that.
Sounds good. Is it good? Sounds good.
It is good, but with the last 2 being the way they were, it's like, yeah, it's really cool, but
I think if anything, it shows you that it's not as easy as it sounds. Like, why isn't Cincinnati done it? Why isn't UCF done it? Why isn't Boise done it? Like, Boise's the cream of the crop, I think, when you think of G5 teams, but like they haven't done it.
Yeah. No, it definitely shows how in today's college football landscape, how difficult it is to consistently even reach the 6-1 mark, right? Yeah. I know everybody talks about how many bowl games there are nowadays. All you got to do is win half your games. But I mean, that goes to show that it's not as easy as it seems. So Tigers big day on Saturday. Dan Bartow retired as 59, and how cool! I don't know why either one of us didn't do this. Why did we in our score pick them? Why didn't either one of us pick 59-0?
I don't know. When
we just didn't believe in that big Tiger D.
No, not at all. Not
Yeah.
like that. I think we both said at least 9.
Well, I mean,
Was it
you're going into it thinking, you're going to have second, third teamers in there by half.
sympathy
So,
touchdown?
yeah, that's what I mean. But shout out, that was cool. 59.
That was awesome. Agreed.
Um,
Hell of a game. Cold one. Very cold.
what bad? We were
Second
in the
half.
sun. We were in the
Yeah.
sun.
Oh, it definitely got cold once the sun moved past the I guess that's the west side of the stadium.
The
Got a
press
little
box
chilly, not
area.
gonna lie.
Yeah, you're right. Main takeaways from Saturday. It's hard to take away a lot from
well, not really. I mean,
mean,
yes and no, right? I think the Tigers are active on defense and special teams. They were what you wanted on defense, right? Pretty much suffocating, don't give up anything, essentially. And then special teams, as you know, that's something we've been super critical on all year. You had the punt return, you had some good kick returns. I think that Davion Ross probably should have been returning kicks all year. I think, here we are getting excited about a 27-yard kick return last week. I don't remember what it was this week, but
dude, it's all relative.
Yeah, it's definitely relative. And I think that him getting anything greater than what we normally have been getting, which is like 18 to 20 yards, it's a win. And obviously Chris Howard's been amazing. Didn't get to see much of Joey D. So I thought it was great. Special teams, that is.
Yeah, I mean, they did what you would expect them to do. I mean, they were definitely we were looking at each other like midway through the first half and we're like, it's 14-0. What the hell's going on? We just punted for the third time. But they ended up pulling it out. Like you said, there were definitely some. I mean, heck of a senior day for Eddie. You already talked about the punt return tutty. Zay, fumble recovery, and a pick six. Quindell with the interception that he took back. It was close to being all the way. So good little senior day for those guys. You got to like to see them kind of last game inside Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium and kind of get to show out a little bit, even if it was a now 1-10 FCS opponent. But Seth 14 of 24, 280, 18, and 1 touchdown. I will say, and I don't know how you feel about this, Coffee and Sutton Smith look good.
Definitely.
Why have we not seen more of either one of them? I mean, we've seen Sutton in little spurts, but I'll say both you and I were expecting Coffee to be more ingrained in the offense this year. And that was literally, I think, the first game this season that he's gotten really any play on the offensive side. And he looked good.
Yeah. I think he got 1 carry like super early in the year and it went for a loss. And then we haven't seen him since. And I know he's been beat up a little bit. I don't know if that plays into it or if it's just so many mouths to feed with Brandon, with Asa, with Ducker. You already have 3 guys ahead of him that are kind of looking for carries. Then you got to fit in Sutton. Then you got to feed in Coffee. It's just a lot of guys back there, yeah. I think is what it is.
I was really hoping he was going to break the non-100-yard rusher streak. I think it's at like 21 games now, which is very depressing. But 14 carries, 83 yards, 5.9 a carry. Sutton had 7 carries, 55 yards, 7.9. But excited about the future with the two of them in the backfield. So
also, I don't even know how to tie this in, but the offensive line. Once the reserves started coming in, like those guys were moving some people, making holes.
We both said it, and maybe it was UNA throwing some scrubs out there too. Well, I mean, their whole team, let's be honest, even their uniforms was scrubby. They didn't even have a name, a logo,
name
nothing.
Or a logo.
I mean, that's like when you play an FCS team. Well, I guess this is par for the course. You play an FCS team on NCAA 14, and they were just like the most generic FCS West. We just played FCS South from NCAA 14.
Even freaking Elmore Park Packer SYS football, we had Packers across our chest.
SYS. I was a GYA guy myself, so
one of those.
We scrimmaged in, I want to say the Wolves. Cordova, was that an SYS team?
Yeah.
Freaking dirty Dover Wolves. All right, final thoughts from Saturday.
I think you would like to see the offense move the ball, especially on the ground. It was more of the same. I think, which is weird to say. You know, I think it was the same output versus UNA as what you have gotten against Tulane versus UCF, which is weird. I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense with the running game.
Do you know how many rushing yards we had? I'm asking. I know
Again,
what it is. I'm
UNA?
asking you. Yeah.
Oh, it was a lot, but I think it's those body blows. I mean, we ran it probably almost 50 times. So
do you feel like we were, just looking back, do you feel like we were balanced on Saturday as an offense?
No. I think they probably ran it way more than they passed it.
Yes, from a snaps perspective, but yardage wise, 246 rushing yards, passing 247.
Okay.
Talk about balanced.
It is balanced.
That's impressive. 1 yard difference.
They were handing the ball off a lot. You got to win with class, you know?
5.
Except not at the same time.
We did not win with class.
No, my man put the foot on the throat. Went for it on 4th down.
4th down, scoring tutties.
Late in the game.
Yeah.
Respect.
All right. Looking ahead, Saturday, final game of the year. Chance for the Tigers to win their 7th game, finish 7-5. Hopefully get to win 8 with a bowl game. Going down to Dallas. Hopefully they're a little bit more focused than Will Coleman's 2010 Tigers basketball team when they're in Dallas. Right now we are 4.5-point dogs. Over under set at 72.5. 2:30. Is it ESPN 2 or ESPNU? I'll announce that. What are you feeling quickly on SMU?
They have one of the best receivers. What's that?
You said you still scared of Mordecai?
I think he's good. I think Rashee Rice is really good.
Bro, Rice does worry me a lot.
Well,
although I feel like that big Tiger D has been improving the second half of the year.
No, definitely. I think that Barnes has done a really good job of shutting down number 1 guys. And we saw this with Stokes from Tulsa. And I get it, it's Tulsa. They have quarterback issues. But this is a guy who's been doing that all year too. Literally every team he plays, he's been tossing folks left and right. Big game, big game, big game. Gets to the Tigers. I don't even think he broke 70 yards. What was it? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But it was something like that. So you're able to kind of shut him down. So if we can kind of see any resemblance of that against Rashee Rice, take away his safety blanket, make Mordecai find other routes and beat us that way. And I definitely think it's probably going to be the game plan for them.
Yeah, make somebody else beat you. Yeah, freaking Rice, 83 receptions, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. Next closest is Jordan Curley with 25 catches for 462 and 4 touchdowns. So make Curley or Goffney, Maryland, one of those dudes beat you. Lock Rice up. All right, give me your offensive and defensive MVPs.
Offensively, I want Eddie to spin off of this game he just had. Maybe it's that kind of confidence because you see him at times. You're like, okay, is Eddie going to be the guy? Because for a second there, we definitely thought it was Gabe Rogers. He got kind of banged up for a second, and then it kind of has teetered back and forth between Eddie. Then going to Caden Prieskorn. It has the juice. Gabe Rogers back to Gabe Rogers. It just keeps moving like that, right? And I think to be safe, it seems like Caden Prieskorn is still going to be Seth's number 1 target. He looks at him 15 times a game, it feels like. So Caden's going to be my offensive player to watch. And I think defensively at this point, it's Zay Collins. I mean, he was incredible last week. I think you mentioned that. I remember the stats. It was 10 tackles, he was on sack, a fumble recovery, a touchdown, an intercept. I feel like it was everything you could fill up on a box score.
Yeah, he was on the PFF college football defensive team of the week this week.
Yeah, I believe it
was.
Hell of a game.
Offensively, I'm going to go with Seth. I think he and Mordecai getting a little bit of a QB battle, and Seth's gonna throw up some numbers. Defensively, I'm gonna go. Gosh, Zay's such a good pick. He's so good.
Well, we got a rebound after picking Cam last week. I thought Cam was going to eat since they just run the ball. My man went into witness protection.
Gosh, starved.
No tackle. He's taking them double teams, right? He's doing his role. It's the hidden box score guy.
Defensively, I'm gonna go Quindell, just so we don't pick the same.
Yeah. I mean, when it's all said and done, Memphis and SMU are super similar in the way that that both, they both score in the mid 30s, they both give up points in the 30s relatively. I think SMU's numbers are skewed a little bit because they had that shootout with Houston. Our numbers are skewed a little bit.
What a game. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's banana stuff. Our numbers are skewed a little bit because of the UNA game. So it's like, if you kind of take them out and balance them, I mean, it's pretty dead even. I'm surprised it's even a 7-point game, or not even 7. What'd you say? 4.5?
4.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Earlier in the year, this was very heavy SMU favorite by FPI. Right now, it's 55% SMU to win, 45 for the Tigers. So, yeah, very evenly matched. We score 35 a game. They score 38. They give up 35. We're giving up 26 this season. So not bad.
But see, I think if you take into consideration the UNA game and their Houston game,
that is something I wanted to mention. Held UNA to 0. That's the first time since 1994 that we've held 2 opponents to under 7 points. And the first time since 15 that we've held somebody scoreless, which, fun fact, was SMU. And that's 63-0. That was the one where Paxton had 7 touchdown passes in the first half, right? Which is what Mordecai tied in that Houston game. He had 8, but 1 was a rushing touchdown.
Do you think I can get Matt Barnes to tweet Big Tiger D? This is an important question.
I don't know. I mean, that was really Adam Fuller's thing. It was such a good saying, though. Nothing like a Big Tiger D. I mean, you maybe could.
I think I can get him to do it.
You might be able to. Is he active on Twitter? I don't know.
No, but I will say he is probably my second favorite defensive coordinator outside of Adam Fuller in any period of time that I can.
Let's be honest, that's not really saying a whole lot.
It's the Chris Paul guy.
Who's you said outside of Adam Fuller? You didn't like Barry?
I would say no. I liked Barry. I think that was more of who he had on the team. They had some studs on those teams.
Jakes.
Yeah, they had some really good dudes on those teams. Freaking Bobby. What are you talking about? Johnathan Cook. There were some studs on those teams, man.
Yeah. I get you. All right. Time for the final score prediction.
I'm going to go. And this is always so hard because it's away, and that's the one thing that scares me. I think if this were at home, I think I would be more inclined to pick the Tigers. I will say SMU 42, Memphis 32. I think it's actually going to be a 10-pointer.
I hate it. I'm with you, though. We are so bad on the road. I mean, it's not like we haven't been getting blown out, but this feels like another ECU style where we get up early, 14-17, let them back in it, and then you lose in like overtime. I might sprinkle a little on a game to go to overtime prop bet. This feels like an overtime game.
Very possible. It's a very even team, man.
I'm going to say, what overtime do you have to start going for 2? The third? Just 2s? One play for 2. That would be wild if we did that again. Gosh, I want us to win so bad, but I'm going to say 38-34 SMU.
38-34?
Yeah. Tigers cover by a half point. Moral victory. I hate
good
it.
teams cover. Great teams cover.
6-6 is so bull.
Let me ask you this. What was your overall prediction at the start of the year?
9-3. Yes.
Okay. So
and there's absolutely no reason that we shouldn't be that right now. I'm
not going to disagree with you, but hear me out.
At worst, you should be 8-4.
If they beat SMU, what's the record going to be?
7-5.
Are you upset with that?
Yes, because you would have been 9-3 if you'd held on to
Yeah,
the Houston
coulda,
game
woulda,
and
shoulda,
the
man.
ECU game.
I'm with you. I'm with
Yes,
you.
7-5. I'm not happy.
You're not happy with 7-5.
I will be okay if they go 7 and I'm like just okay.
That's 7-5
like,
with a
meh.
potential 8-win season.
Yes, if they win the bowl game 2 and finish 8-5, I will be okay. But not.
Well,
happy,
if they go to Birmingham, they're not winning the game. That's just a rule.
We're going to Fenway.
I'd love that. Every time we go to Birmingham, we lose. It's a proven stat.
Yeah, I'm not happy with 7-5.
Okay.
Especially given the circumstances. Those 2 games, if you win Saturday, you'd have been 9-3, which is what I feel like we should have been easily. I could have made an argument that we should have won UCF as well. So potentially you're talking about 10-2. And really, if your special teams didn't suck, maybe 11-1. You just handed Tulane 14 points off special teams. All right, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Kind of getting away from the point there, but 7-5, you're upset.
Not happy. Yes.
Not happy.
Are you?
Huh? Yeah, I think 7-5 is right on the fringe of what a Memphis football program should be. Like, I think that is kind of the bar, right? It's at least 7 wins every year. At least 7 wins. Yes, absolutely.
8.
I think you have forgotten.
I've not forgotten, TJ.
No, you have. You got caught up in the Norvell hype, and now that it's gone, you just expect the team to be a 10-win team every year, and that's just not a thing.
Okay, that if we hadn't gone 6-6 last year, it's the 2 years as a whole of mediocrity that are making me out, that I'm not happy with. If we'd won 8 or 9 games last year and then you had a 1 down year, you went 7-5 and it's because you blew 2 leads, whatever it is, what it is. You had 2 new coordinators, I could get past it. But when you go 6-6 last year and then you follow it up with what's going to be either a 6-6 or a 7-5, that's a trend, not an outlier.
1 year is technically a trend, but
a pattern.
Okay, well, it's also could be an 8-win season.
Yeah, I said I would be okay with 8 if they win.
So
Saturday,
it's relying on the.
If they win the next 2, I will be okay.
I agree that you shouldn't be happy with 7 wins if you're basing it off of how the program was before. If Norvell were still here, I think you would not be happy with a 7-win team. I think that is perfectly fine. But he's not here. And 7 wins being the floor is not a bad thing.
But
if
it's not the floor, we saw they won 6 last year.
That's fine. I think 6 is the anomaly. I think 7 is the floor. You should never win only 7 games with the teams that you're playing here. And that's not anything against necessarily the scheduling. I think they've done a great job with the scheduling relatively going forward. You have Boise and SEC teams nonstop from here on out. Florida State. Like,
God,
I mean,
Mike's,
the scheduling
Mike's
going
to hang 70 on us.
Probably. Win with class. You think he'll win with class? Get a little mercy.
Mike? When did Mike ever win with class?
He's going to it's Memphis. So I think he'll be nice. He's going to come in with freaking Brock Glenn.
We'll see. Yeah, shut up. All right, on to the beer. We'll discuss this next week if they get their 7th win. Yeah, I like this. It was important. Good.
It's okay. What the hell? Why do we keep doing coriander on beer?
I don't know. Never settle, always metal. I thought this was a good brew.
It was fine. I'm not gonna act like I loved it. It's not my favorite medicine by any means.
Oh, it's not my favorite, but it's definitely drinkable.
All right, what about the can? What do you say?
I'm just not very basic.
Yeah, it's pretty
just
boring.
A tip jar.
But this is where they get me. The fine details on the UPC bar here. You see the little bridge on the front left? Do you have that on yours?
Yes, that's too little. That's not
this
like
light is ridiculous. You can't even see
TJ's
it.
TikTok light is blinding you guys. So I apologize. Okay, I'd have been all in if it was like, who is it? Is it High Cotton that does the full
High
scan?
Cotton.
You can't throw in that tiny. Look how tiny TJ's talking about. That's a bridge.
That's fine. I'm just giving it. I'm just saying. I'm considering that.
That does not add to the score. Can score. I'm going. This can feels like a 6-6 season. So I'm going 5.8.
A little higher.
Straight up 5. Straight up 5.
That's a rookie score. You can't do even numbers.
Okay, 5.1.
I was going to say 5.5 at best. I need to know the story, and they don't have the website on this. I assume there's a story to tip your bartender, unless they just legitimately mean like tip your bartender, and this is just their funny way of telling us to tip bartenders.
Yeah, I don't know. Beer-wise, it's about the same. Felt like a 7-5 season. The Kansas 6-6. Beer's a 7-5. I mean, I'm going to say.
I'll say 6.3.
6.8.
I call dibs on 6.3. You can't do it, dude.
I'll do 6.8.
It's okay. And I could drink 2 of them and get tired of it pretty quickly.
Yeah. All right. Tiggs SMU Saturday. Men's basketball. Yep. Oh, gosh. What are we doing? We didn't even give a shout out to the women's soccer team. Heck of a run. Shout out to the women's soccer team. Lost in PKs to Arkansas in the Sweet 16 last night. But heck of a run. Cinderella run out of those girls. Great performance. The goalkeepers, man, last night in those PKs was like 4 or 5 PKs were saved in 10 attempts. But shout out. Final thoughts, TJ, signing off.
Man, nothing from me. Thanks, Will, for jumping on. I think it was good to hear from him. I haven't spoken to him in a while. So it's nice to kind of get his opinion on things and just kind of, a different perspective, right? As a former player, he kind of knows things and thinks about things a little differently than just you and I would. But shout out to Will.
Yeah, shout out Will. All right, come with the cold beers, stay for the hot takes. Peace.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, please leave a like and a comment wherever you download your podcasts. Head over to bluffcitynil.com for comprehensive coverage of Memphis Tiger athletics. We will see you back here next week.